George Blecci, Natalie Nori. We have very special guests with us now. He's Vincent Marino. This is his mom, Shelby, his dad, Eddie. How are you guys doing this morning? Thank you for waking up with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Now, we know Vincent is a patient currently at Dana-Farber. We know today's a very special day.
Jesus, I'm crying already. It is a special day. It is his last round of chemo.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about Vincent's journey? How did you discover that he had cancer, and what's it been like going through the treatment at Dana-Farber?
You know, his stomach has never really looked right to me. He was a preemie. We've had a lot of issues since he was born, but his stomach was just not looking right. So at his 2.5-year appointment, I said something to his pediatrician, and thankfully she took me seriously. And on March 20th, they found an 8.5-inch tumor. Pretty much swallowed his whole right kidney. So on March 25th, they took his right kidney and the 8.5-inch tumor.
Wow. Now, Vincent is 3 years old.
He'll be 3 September 9th. So very soon he'll be 3.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
That's a lot to go through for such a little body. You mentioned at the 2.5-year checkup, you mentioned something, but when did you really start to see that something might be wrong, and how did you trust your parental intuition there?
A mother's never wrong.
Yeah.
A mother always knows. He just looked uncomfortable. I don't know. He just looked really uncomfortable. And from, I want to say, November to March, his stomach made a significant, increase. And he runs off air and rage. He doesn't eat enough for his stomach to be that big. So, yeah, I just followed my intuition.
And Eddie, I want to ask, what makes Dana-Farber stand out is not only the initiative they have to beat cancer and the advancements they're making with clinical trials and treatment, but also patient care. What was the support you guys got as a family and you saw your son get while he was getting treatment at Dana-Farber?
We got unbelievable support. The doctors, the nurses, everyone was there for us. Family, our union, everyone came together.
And how much did that help along the way? I mean, it's so difficult for anyone, let alone a family, to go through this, let alone for the 3-year-old son. But how important was that for you guys along the way as well?
We wouldn't have made it without them.
No, it was huge. Huge.
We're truly lucky. We have, a small village, but an amazing village, and we're very, very lucky because, otherwise they probably would have consumed us completely. We have the best support system in the world.
Why does today and being here today make you feel bigger than what this situation is, to know that you're also helping raise awareness for other parents and children who are going through the same thing? What does all this mean to you?
Well, right now, we're really lucky. We see a light at the end of the tunnel for us. Today is a big day. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's all right. If you take a moment,
Yeah, no, in March, this day was so far away. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And now it's here, and he's amazing. My son, my shirt says it. My son is my hero because he is my hero. He's
resilient.
Mm-hmm.
The strongest kid I've ever met. You'd never know what he was going through. Mm-hmm. Truly, you would never know. He actually had surgery 10 weeks prior to this. He had his tonsils, it's in tubes, placed at the end of January. So he's been through a lot. But now I think for the first time in his life, he can hear now. He doesn't have that big tumor obstructing him. Yeah. For the first time in his life, he's thriving. He feels great. And it's amazing to see his confidence build, and he's made this a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's a quality of life that's given back.
Yeah.
And for him, he can live life as a normal kid.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he runs around all day long, and he makes everybody happy. Everybody who meets him loves him. We're really lucky. He's a great kid.
How did you see the staff at Dana-Farber interact with your son? I'm sure him being so young and this all being foreign to you, how was the interaction like, and what were you so happy to see?
I don't want to say he's a little local celebrity, but he makes his presence known wherever he goes, and the staff there are amazing. His doctors, he has his favorite nurse, right?
Who's your favorite nurse?
Who's your favorite nurse? Are you going to do Nikki like this?
It's all right, Vin. You could tell us. It's just us.
Who's your favorite nurse?
Oh,
He's being shy.
he's a phony shy. For sure.
It's like I can't give it
Well,
away.
No.
I see that smile breaking out. It's no
Yeah.
surprise. He's
Yeah.
a celebrity.
Yeah, yep. He just, I mean, they're great. Child Life, everyone is so amazing at the Dana-Farber.
We know he's picked up playing guitar along
Yes,
the way.
he
Yeah.
has. Yes, he
Amazing.
has.
Wow.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
he loves the little resource
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
But he loves the music room. He loves it. Erica from Child Life, she's amazing. You know, she helps us a lot during port access and things like that. So,
Now, with today being his last day of chemo,
yep.
what's the celebration going to be?
We are actually going to probably celebrate more on his birthday. So we're going to probably take it easy just because the medication and stuff,
Yes,
you know.
That's right.
So we just, you know, we see how he feels. We'll probably get an ice cream or something.
I like that. I
Sounds
think it's a great
good.
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. His birthday, we're going to do a little more, you know, but celebrating with everybody. And
There we go.
Yay.
Now he's waking up.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he's up
my
now.
gosh. And
Now-
go ahead.
I was just
Natalie.
going to say, you mentioned your T-shirt. Eddie, could you tell us
Sure.
what shirt you're wearing as well? Dad of a warrior.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
like that. And Grandpa's over here.
Yeah.
Richard,
Papa's over there.
Papa of a childhood cancer warrior. Those messages are powerful, speak for themselves. I guess for you as parents going through this, do you have advice for other parents who are entering this and have no idea what to expect?
Hang in there and take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of them. Lean on each other, because you guys are a team. You
Push
guys,
forward.
Yeah. Just
Gotta
one
keep
step in front
going.
of the other. Just keep it in the day, because that's, you really only have today. So that's my best advice. And, you know,
Definitely take care of yourself.
moms to moms, like, you're not alone. And moms are strong. No offense to the dads, but you know, we're superheroes. So
And Vin is strong too.
very strong.
Yeah.
Kids are resilient. Kids are stronger and tougher than any adult I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, I'm sure you've learned a lot from him.
It's a very most humbling experience we've probably have ever had.
And we know the importance of Dana-Farber, but anyone at home watching, if they're on the fence about donating, if you can tell them why they should donate, I think that'd be great.
I actually, for his birthday, I actually put on his invitation, no presents, to actually make a donation to the Jimmy Fund Clinic. So if that says anything, I mean, you know, all the resources and everything, we probably wouldn't have survived without them, and that's through donation. So, and we're going to do the Jimmy Fund Walk in October, and to try to, that's why we're doing this today, just to try to bring awareness and, you know, hope.
Of course.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and, you know, I don't know.
And Vincent, he's a living proof of that himself.
He is.
Vince, I want to ask you a favor. If you see the microphone on your mom's headphone, can you just say, donate money to Dana-Farber?
Can you say, give me your money?
Give me your money.
Maybe if mom asks, he'll do it, or if dad does.
Can you say, give me
What do you think?
Go ahead, Vinny. You want to talk? Go ahead.
Oh, there we go.
No?
No.
Oh, you said no.
Nope.
Well, Shelby, Eddie,
Yeah, you phony. Look at it.
now he's smiling.
There we go.
For the folks at home, look at that face, and that's why you donate. 877-738-1234 to call in. JimmyFund.org. There's a smile from my guy, Vinny. He's living proof of the power at Dana-Farber. And to Shelby, to Eddie, Grandpa Richard is here in the studio with us as well. And to you, Vin,
Yep.
congratulations on
Thank
today.
you
I'm
so much.
so happy for you guys, so grateful. Thank you for taking the time with
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for
having us.
sharing how important Dana-Farber is as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
George Bilecki, Ian Brownhill, with a very special guest, Lisa Scherber. You've been at the Jimmy Fund and at Dana-Farber for over 30 years, Director of Patient and Family Programs. And when we were playing that Shawn Thornton package, you
Yeah.
immediately go, I love Shawn. He's the best.
I do.
What you do day to day, it's to help the patients and their families get their mind off the treatment.
Right.
What does it mean to people at Dana-Farber and the patients and the families when someone like Shawn Thornton, Brock Holt, comes through those doors and just gives them some time out of their day?
Yeah, I mean, it means the world. You know, we can only do so much, and we love what we do, and we have an amazing team within the Jimmy Fund Clinic. But when someone like a Shawn Thornton calls up and says, "Hey, can I stop by?" and I'm like, "Sure," and he does, and it's just, it brings this kind of magic from our kids and our parents too. So it's not really just sometimes about the kids. It's about making our parents that are coming here day after day, making them sort of feel a little bit of joy as well. And so someone like Shawn and Brock and Tim and Dustin, I mean, all those players, when they come into the Jimmy Fund Clinic, they're not baseball players or hockey players. They're just human beings that just know that by walking through a door, they can actually make an impact that's greater than any of us can do.
And that's for sure. We've seen Shawn Thornton. We saw how much like Brock Holt resonates with them. This is a tough year. It's the first one without Tim Wakefield. And we know you and Tim were very close. He was someone that it wasn't for the PR. Him and his wife, Stacy, would go to the Dana-Farber Institute year round, give their time right before Christmas, going through, giving gifts, visiting the patients. Just share with us, how important was Tim Wakefield to the people at the Jimmy Fund Clinic at Dana-Farber?
I mean, he is, what he did for us is something that no one can ever replicate. I think him and Stacy and Brianna and Trevor as a family, they made an impact with each one of us. Every time they sort of made a phone call, they sort of walk through clinic, whether it's with gifts or just them. But Tim, every spring training game that we took the teenagers to, every trip that we took those kids to, he was the first one out. He was the one that sort of taught the younger guys how to be this kind of a person, how to be more than a baseball player, and he also knew, he's like, I throw a knuckleball. It's like, I got to do more. And he did every day. And I think I've seen the video this morning of him carrying Robbie down the bleachers. And that story is sort of one of the moments when I just knew right away that this is an incredible man that's going to sort of change a lot of lives. And he certainly did. And this year doesn't feel right without him, obviously. But I think the impact that he's left with the Red Sox and the new players coming up and with all of us, it's just be kind and just give of yourself, and it's not hard.
Yeah, 17 years he spent with the Red Sox, but well beyond his days of being retired from baseball, consistently at Dana-Farber, consistently at the Jimmy Fund Clinic. You mentioned it the day that he helped Robbie and carried him down the stairs because he lost his leg due to cancer treatment, and he saw it and immediately reacted in that way. That's the person Tim was.
Yes.
I got to know him for a year when, he'd be in Watertown in our NESN studios calling games with OB remotely. He always made me feel like the most important person in the room. And I know he did that for everybody. Do you have a favorite story or moment you can share about Tim when he visited Dana-Farber?
I think for him and the family, it was Christmas time. He would come in and just, no one knew about it. It was just us in clinic and them. And he would just walk around and just talk with the kids. Just be with them on their level. And then, of course, we'd have Santa Claus there. And so we always, every year, loved the picture with Santa. And I think, I think back at those times, and again, no one will ever replicate that. And I don't want anyone to, because he created this life, and I've been at the clinic for over 30 years. So he was the first player that I met. And so we became very, very close. And just to know that we had someone always on our side. He was always there for us and sort of making sure that we got what we needed and that these Jimmy Fund Clinic kids really felt the love. And they always felt the love from him and Stacy.
A testament of the person that Tim and Stacy were. Tim, the day before he passed, he called and said he would participate in the Jimmy Fund Walk. Of course, couldn't make it. And the Christmas before Stacy passed, she was going through her own battle privately. No one knew about it. And she was there right before Christmas with her daughter to give out presents to everyone. Yeah,
so the day before the walk, Tim had connected with me. And he's like, we're all there. We're going to be there. He's like, can you meet us? And I was like, sure, I'll meet you. And it was the entire family. And he's like, I just want to come out on my own terms, and I want everyone to know that we're fighting this. And I was so excited. And then, from such elation to excitement and then to such sorrow in just, 24 hours is crazy. And then Christmas time, after he had passed, Brianna and Stacy had texted me and said, can we come in? And I was like, yes. And so, Stacy was not in a good position at that point. And so she just let Brianna take it. And it was almost like, for me, it was a symbolizing of passing the torch. And I think that was really an amazing thing for both me and Stacy to sort of make that happen. And of course, Brianna was a rock star, you know, and I've known her since she was a little one coming into clinic, and to sort of see her just like her dad, get down at their level and just, you know, hear them and listen to them and not just, you know, talk. So it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And I think, you know, saying to Stacy at the end of that visit, I was like, we're so proud of her. And I'm like, I know you're so proud of her. And she just was welling up with joy. And for me, that was a beautiful moment.
And we also know this Jimmy Fund radio telethon, the first without Larry Lucchino as well. What was the relationship like with Larry? Because he was a bulldog, he was a volcano, but he had a massive heart, and that was shown in how much he gave back to Jimmy Fund.
Exactly. I mean, Larry was just all heart.
Yeah.
You know, I would hear stories of how Larry was in reality and in sort of the business world. And I was like, no, that's not Larry. That's not Larry. He would walk in the Jimmy Fund Clinic doors, and you could just see a switch go on him. And he loved it. He loved everything about it. And he loved the relationship the Red Sox had with the Jimmy Fund Clinic. And I think he realized that was something that needed to be nurtured and something that he took a lot of pride in. So I think, you know, losing Larry is, it's, you know, it was something that he definitely left his legacy behind too. So to lose both in 1 year is just you know, it's a huge hit for the Red Sox, for the Dana-Farber, but also how fortunate and grateful we are to be touched by two amazing human beings that just give a lot.
Exactly. Their memories, their legacies went well beyond baseball, giving back to this community and doing it in a way in the shadows of, they didn't need people to see them doing it. They did it out of the kindness of their heart, everything they led. Now, as I said, you know, in the opening, part of what you do is help the patients and their families get their mind off the treatment. You do an annual teen spring training trip.
Yeah.
Why is that so special?
Oh my gosh. You know, this year was even more special because for 4 years, because of COVID, we weren't able to go. We were all packed, ready to go the week of COVID that hit. And we were like, we can't go. So 4 years. And when we started boarding the buses to go to the airport and hop on JetBlue, you know, we had the state police escort. And I remember sitting in the bus and I thought how much joy everyone's feeling right now. But then I also thought of 4 years of kids that never got to experience this. And it really showed me that, you know, over 20 years ago when Todd Schwartz, you know, one of the most amazing teens we've ever had in the Jimmy Fund Clinic, he's the one who told me, take us away. And because of him, you know, talk of an icon, a legacy, again, we do these trips because one teenager said to me that I was doing it all wrong, that I need to take us away. And so after he had passed, I did that. And the whole team jumped on board, and we love it. And to know we missed 4 years, it broke my heart for those kids that never get to experience this life-changing weekend. But it's special. It's just the Red Sox players, they come out, the Red Sox organization comes out and shines a light on these kids that is so bright and it's so beautiful. So I love it.
I'm sure it means just as much to the athletes as it does to the kids. We've seen in past videos going back to 2014. David Ross was here. Craig Breslow, now the GM and president of baseball ops for the Red Sox there. And obviously what it meant for Tim. And people to introduce them. They may not go to Dana-Farber yet, but it comes to them in spring training and it resonates with them how important they are. I've yapped a ton. I'm sure Ian has a question for Lisa.
Yeah, I know. I talk a lot.
No, it's not you. I'm talking too much. You have the stories. I want Ian to get
this is great because, you know, this is my first time participating in the Jimmy Fund, and it's amazing just hearing your stories and what you've been doing for the Jimmy Fund and just for all of these incredible people. And I'm sure that is a lot to take on. And as I'm just listening, I feel like I'm not worthy to be in the presence of someone who's doing so much. As George made the introduction, I just make social media videos, so this is the first time I finally get to be involved, and I'm just in awe of what you do and the experiences that you've had with people. And it's just, and I'm reading over the sheet here, and I'm hearing that you're also doing things to help the parents and children who are going through the treatment for their family and the siblings and people who are also a part of this.
Yeah. So
I'm curious to hear what that's like.
Yeah, we have a whole team of child life specialists that are just absolute rock stars that help the kids through procedural support, all of those things that are so scary for our kids to sort of have their ports accessed and, IVs and all those things. So we have child life specialists who help through that. We have music therapists. We have people on our team that just make sure that kids are smiling and parents feel safe. And that's the most important thing, is that then when they walk in the Jimmy Fund Clinic, they know they're home, that we're family. And to sort of have that, it's the nurses, it's the doctors, it's our housekeeping crew that just love being there. We just love it, and it's contagious.
Yeah, I think what's so important is everything you guys do. I know people are donating right now. Maybe some people are on the fence. I think what's important is for people to know what their dollars go towards when they donate. How does the donations, the funds raised over these next 48 hours and throughout the year, but especially these next 2 days, how does that help you and your team give these patients and their families the best treatment and care possible?
Yeah, I think it's sort of, if there is a fence up, you got to take the fence down, right? I think every dollar matters. I think being there for over 30 years, I see the research changes. I see what we're able to do with these kids. We're taking them places that they've never been before. We're able to do things for the parents because of funds. We can come up with the most creative ideas and say, this is going to be really good. But if we don't have the funds to back it up, we're really at nothing. So these 2 days are really critical to sort of share our parents and the patients' stories and let people know that this is an amazing place that does amazing things, and it's only possible with the funding that's brought on.
Yeah, Dana-Farber is truly one of a kind, and the Jimmy Fund is truly one of a kind. You've been doing it for over 30 years. What inspires you every day to go to work and, to be such a big role and such a big part of these kids and their families' experience for treatment?
I think the patients. Without a doubt, the parents. Once I became a parent, you look at these parents in a different way. The pain that they're having, and it's horrific. And anything we can do to sort of make that a little bit less is worth every day of walking in that clinic, and we all love it.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for everything you do at Dana-Farber
Thank you, guys.
for the
Yes,
Jimmy
thank
Fund.
you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to come on and talk. I love it. Ian he makes videos on TikTok. He's great at it.
Yeah.
I put on makeup and I talk sports. What you do, what your team does is so powerful. So thank you for sharing your
grateful for
story
you
and your
guys.
experience.
Thank you
you.
very
Just as
much.
grateful for you.
Such a pleasure.
Lisa Scherber of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Jimmy Fund Clinic as well. Welcome.
Back here to our coverage on NESN from the Fenway studio. We're continuing with our special guest, Maui Cologne. Waylon joins us along with Beth Horsley, who's a nurse at Dana-Farber. Maui, I know you were real excited. You couldn't wait for us to start the interview while we were waiting for that interview to wrap up. But it's going to have some fun. But we also want to talk about your journey and your diagnosis. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So last year in June, I developed a lump on my neck, and I thought it was soreness at first, but over the few weeks, it started to grow more and more. And then I went on vacation to the Cape, and my legs turned blue and rash, so it was just getting bad. So when I went to go get checked out for my rash, something told me to tell my doctor, to check out my neck, and they did a lot of tests, and after a lot of tests, they found out I had stage 2A Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, and then that it was a tumor in my chest that was growing arms, here, here, and here. So then, after more tests, they decided that I'm going to be on chemo for 6 months.
Can you tell us about the first experience at Dana-Farber from your point of view?
My first experience there was good. The staff was good. They made me feel comfortable. They were very welcoming, and they were very understanding of what I'm going through. So they made it easy for me to feel comfortable being there and not to worry as much with my diagnosis that it's gonna be good.
People like Beth?
People like Beth, yeah.
I saw you holding hands. Obviously, Beth, you develop a special relationship with patients, and obviously here with Maui. Why is that important to you?
It's important because these kids are more than their diagnosis. They are people going through something hard, and they need a support system. And if we, as nurses at Dana-Farber, can make it a little easier on them, then we've done something right.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, amazing. And Maui, you're off to school
Yeah, I
in the
am.
fall. We're just talking about how excited you are to start your junior year.
Yeah, psyched for school.
No,
What was your response? Yeah, no, not so much.
unfortunately.
But what do you like to do? I mean, when it's not schoolwork.
I like to paint, or I like to be outside playing baseball or basketball with my brother. I like to just be outside or paint. I find those two relaxing to me. So those are like two of my favorite things to do.
What's it like being here at Fenway and looking back and seeing the field behind you?
I love being at Fenway.
You've been to games?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of a different perspective, though, huh?
Yeah, it's cool. I've never been on this side.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Beth, you talked about what inspires you, but your journey to becoming a Dana-Farber nurse was one inspired by your mother.
Yeah, my mom was a nurse at Brigham and Women's for many years, and I got to go to work with her on Bring Your Daughter to Work Day. I was 12, and I held a baby that was 2 hours old, and I was like, oh, I want to be a nurse. And it's a lot more than holding babies, but it's I'm blessed to have someone to look up to and who has really created a path for my career. My mom's a good nurse.
You're following in her footsteps.
Yeah.
Very proud. Maui, we got to talk about your spring training trip.
Yes.
What was that like going down to Fort Myers and hanging with the Red Sox?
It was really good. I was nervous. I could not speak. But it was good. I liked meeting them. They were really nice. They were very welcoming, but they got me nervous. I was like, I couldn't speak. But I liked meeting them. They're very nice and I don't know, they're very welcoming there. But
Awesome.
it was a good trip.
What was your favorite part?
Meeting Tristan Casas.
Tristan Casa. I was going to ask your favorite player as a follow-up,
Got
but
it.
I think we got the answer right there. Tristan Casas. You mentioned your treatment, and you've been in remission since
January.
January. How's that feel?
It feels good to be in remission. I feel good being back to be able to do stuff I couldn't do before. So it's good being in remission. It's good being able to do stuff and not have to worry about coming to clinic or medication or being safe with myself because getting more sick than I already am.
Could you tell people why they should donate to the Jimmy Fund?
They should donate because the Jimmy Fund is good. They're my second home. They're very very welcoming. They're great. They're always, every time I walked in, they always have something for me, always talking to me. They're a second home. They make your diagnosis not as bad as it seems. They make you forget about that. It's really good there. They should donate.
Yeah. And Beth, what does it mean to you to see, Maui in good health sitting next to you? Yeah.
It chokes me up. She had a long journey and she's doing so well, and it's so nice to see her smile all the time.
It was so nice having you both on as well. Maui and Beth, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck at school. It's going to be great.
Get your reading done.
Yeah, junior year is awesome.
Absolutely.
And brings us to our next guest here, the Director of Marketing Operations for Wasabi, Anna Killalea. And
thank you.
You didn't know that was coming.
I didn't know that was coming, and it was so lovely.
I
know. I'm lucky I wasn't crying over here.
Well, we've already given the disclaimer. It may happen during our 2 hours here. We
have tissues.
Needs a big softie.
I'm not lost to
We got everything for you, but you got a close personal relationship with the Jimmy Fund, and that video right there kind of highlights it.
Yeah, I do. My best friend is Todd Schwartz's youngest sister, Amy. Amy lives in Los Angeles now, but we obviously stay deeply in touch with one another, and the Schwartz family is like a second family to me. They're phenomenal. I mean, you can just tell by hearing Janet Schwartz over there. I mean, she's just an amazing human being, and as is the entire family.
So we're only on this earth for a finite amount of time. And the stories that I'm hearing today, the stories that I've continued to hear since I've been doing this telethon is about leaving the planet a better place than where we found it.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's a prime example of that.
He is the perfect example of that. I was thinking about the things that I wanted to talk about with Todd, and I think, you're blessed with this one life, and he was thrown a curveball, you could say, of epic proportions, and he took it, and he just said, I'm going to take care of it. And I think he knew how bad his illness was, and I think he wanted to make sure that people weren't left with less, and he wanted to make sure that the patients at the Jimmy Fund, at the Dana-Farber, could continue on and become hopeful each and every day. And that's what he pushed for. I mean, he was just the happiest, most wonderful, loving, kind, hysterical human being. I mean, you'd be in his presence and you'd think to yourself, oh, that's my best friend now. And he'd be like, yeah, she's one of my best friends. And it would be with everybody. It was wonderful.
To see that, I mean, now being 20 years later,
It's crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Like, to see Todd's impact, his legacy still living on, like, how significant is that for you?
It's pretty profound. I think about how, we go through life and decades pass, and all of a sudden you're looking at 20 plus years of being without him physically. And you say to yourself, oh man, did I forget? Did I not think of him this week? Did I not do enough? And then he has these little nudges, like these little ways of kind of popping up and saying, I'm still here. You know what you got to do. You know you have to keep fighting for these people. We shouldn't have to have families go through this anymore. Keep it up. Don't stop. Don't stop. And that's really what he left us with.
I think that's an impact that Tim Wakefield, Larry Lucchino, and Todd, when you think back, they're no longer with us, but they are in a sense because they force us to go out there and try to be better people, to try to make an impact in any way that we can.
Absolutely. We talk about him all the time. I mean, I know Amy and her sister Laura, they talk about it with their kids. I talk about it with my kids. Who was Todd? What did he stand for? What is the Jimmy Fund? What is Dana-Farber? Why is it so impactful? And he knew he could make an impact, and he knew he only had a finite amount of time, and he just did that.
And we're seeing that now. We're seeing that over the course of these 2 days, and his family has kept in contact with the Jimmy Fund. They continued their work as well in his memory and in his honor. How has it impacted your work at Wasabi?
I think I feel so lucky. It feels like such a nice full circle moment. I knew Wasabi was involved with the Red Sox, of course, and a few other organizations in Boston, being based out of here. But understanding and knowing that they were, helping out with the Jimmy Fund and participating in a day like this, it was just such a lovely full circle moment. I mean, you can't write it better, right? You think of Todd and I say, like, how do I keep his memory alive? And how do I think about him? And I say, oh, well, here we are. Here we go. Let's do this.
Another event, the Todd Schwartz Softball Classic. Tell me about that. Was he a ball player? Did he like to play?
Todd liked to participate in basically, I think, anything that was social, to be perfectly honest. He was, like I said, happy and loving and funny. And I think he loved Boston sports. I mean, I know there's lots of sports fans around here, but he loved the Red Sox and he loved all sports teams in New England. And so being able to have this be like part of his orbit, I think was really important. And the softball tournament started after he passed away, if I remember correctly, and forgive me because it's been a while. But I think it was his friends from camp that he had during the summer that decided to put it on. And then they just kept the momentum going. And every year we would put teams together and play with friends. And they had a silent auction and people would donate. And they raised thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was a blast every summer in June.
Yeah, exactly. And we know 2002, when he was 19 years old, they got to make a trip to Camden Yards. You mentioned him being a huge Red Sox fan, and that was a fantastic thing for the entire group, but for him as well. And that's the kind of thing that we're kind of asking folks for, because the financial aspect of it makes things like that happen, because it creates some normalcy to their life when they're fighting for it.
Yeah, so before Todd passed away, he went to Lisa Scherber at the Jimmy Fund and said, hey, I think, we need to get, especially these teenagers, kind of like out of Dodge. This is not their life. Like, they have a life outside of this that they need to experience. And so he made the suggestion. And Lisa, being amazing, said, all right, let's figure out how to do it. And so, unfortunately, he did pass away before we got to do that first trip. But his some of his best buddies from high school got to go as chaperones. Amy and I both got to go as chaperones, and it was so much fun. And it was just like seeing this idea come to life. And I think you're kind of like walking together with him in a way, even though he's not there. And it was such a blast. And they still continue to do it today. I believe Lisa said it's their 21st year this year, which is amazing. Yeah. And
it's a small world, too. How fitting that he got to go to Camden Yards, which is basically Larry Lucchino's baby. Right? Larry put that stadium there on the map.
He created it. That's right. It's one of the premier ballparks in baseball. And, we'd be remiss if we didn't get down to the dollars and cents here, Anna, because you and Wasabi, you got a great presentation for us. So I'll leave the floor for you.
Yeah, of course. So, Wasabi is based out of Boston. We are involved with lots of the sports teams here. We find ourselves to be privileged to be part of these organizations in different ways. And I think the one thing that's so wonderful about Wasabi is that the people are truly good people and they want to make a difference in the places that we are located. And that's something that we can do with you guys at the Jimmy Fund. And so we're super excited to present this check to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to pop it up here.
So I can grab it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure you can handle that? That's a lot of coin
so.
there.
So we're super excited to present this check for the Jimmy Fund.
We're joined by PJ Breslin, who is 4 years old from Saratoga Springs. Amy and Courtney, his parents are here. Carter's here, his cousin. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. Happy to be here.
There's a lot of baseballs on the wall, and PJ, you should get a baseball before. You want a baseball? We're going to get you a baseball. All right? Does that seem fair? Take us through PJ's diagnosis and what has happened with you at the Jimmy Fund.
So he was diagnosed in the spring of 2023. We thought he had a testicular hernia because he had some swelling, and then we brought him to the doctor. They sent him to a general surgeon, and they found out it was a solid tumor. So unfortunately, they told us about 2 days later that it was rhabdomyosarcoma and it was cancerous. So we got in the car and we drove to Dana-Farber with no appointment. We just knew we had to be there.
From Saratoga?
From Saratoga. We
Yeah.
knew we had to be there. His primary care physician said that's the best place to be. So we drove to Dana-Farber, no appointment. And the next day they got us in for a scan.
You
And we-
walk in the door at the Jimmy Fund, and what happens?
They were amazing. They were amazing. They called us. They called us.
The mic works.
Next
I mean,
day.
he's helping us test the microphones.
Good job, baby. Yeah.
I can't see.
It's okay. Just look right there.
Can you see up there?
There you are.
That's
There you
you.
are.
You can
Right
wave.
there.
You want to wave to everybody? There you
There
go.
you go, baby.
See?
There you go.
There you go.
They were absolutely amazing when we got to the Jimmy Fund. They got us in. We were officially a patient, and we had surgeries right away. They started chemo right away. They just treated us amazingly. It's truly what saved him.
It's an unbelievable place.
It is. It's like another world in there. I don't think unless you're there, I don't think you understand. It's like another world when you walk in.
It is, and I think obviously Dana-Farber and Jimmy Fund Clinic is known for their medical expertise and research and everything, but I think the piece that sticks out to us the most is the emotional and mental support, because it's a hard journey. And Lisa and her team, it sounds weird to say, they make it as enjoyable as possible, but the events that they do, he started looking forward to each week, the craft that was going to be done, the music therapy with Miss Erica, from when you walk in the door to get the screening and cleared, everybody has a smile on their face and they're trying to make it, I don't know, as least stressful as possible, and it's difficult to do.
It becomes a new family.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Lisa, talk a little about
Yeah,
PJ.
that's when you had no hair.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, PJ and his moms, you guys are a force of nature. And I think the story of coming in to clinic without an appointment, it just fits you perfectly because you are on a mission to save your boy. And I think you guys have done, we all love in a clinic watching you guys with him. I mean, you come from New York. You know, just that fact alone is like your whole life is an upheaval just to make sure he got the best care. And so I feel like whenever he walked into clinic, it lit us up. You know, I think that's sort of, we did a lot of good things, huh?
We did. We were lucky. You had no hair there.
That's
too.
you with no hair. Look at you. You're at a baseball game.
You're at Fenway Park. You're with the Red Sox. Do you like the
Right?
Red Sox?
Yeah.
Do you like superheroes? I heard you like superheroes.
Spider-Man?
Do you like Spider-Man? Is he the best? Who
What
else?
does he do? Does he shoot things out?
Shoot a web.
What does he shoot?
Does he shoot a web? No.
How does he do
How?
it?
How? I don't
You know
know
how to do it?
Can you show me?
We'll just show
Does
them
Carter
how to
know?
do it.
Like that? Like that?
Is that it?
But I got I got nothing. I got no webs.
And no
I'm
webs.
not Spider-Man.
He's got no
Are
power.
you Spider-Man? Huh? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You're young. We'll see. Maybe. Carter, what's it been like for you watching PJ go through this and watching the family? Like, how's PJ now?
Good. I like helping him out.
What do you do?
I just make him happy.
He looks pretty happy. You're doing a good job.
You'd entertain him, right? During his long chemo days,
Yeah,
entertain
you
him.
come into clinic
Yep.
and sort of be a part of it.
Yep, help him with his craft.
That way he doesn't have to be alone. Can I just say, PJ's doing the stuff I've always wanted to do, doing this for 20 years on this set, just play with the microphone and see what works. They don't let me do it. They yell at me when I do it. But PJ, it's your world. You can do whatever you want right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to take them off?
All right.
Oh, that makes things so much easier.
There you
for
go.
Mom.
There you go.
What
Want me to hold them for you?
Nope. Back on.
Back on.
That's right.
It's all good.
It's such a roller coaster.
It is.
Right? There'd be small gains, and bad news, and more small gains. Sort of take us through how they've helped you through that, how you have learned to handle this.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I kind of mentioned it, that like the emotional and mental piece, everybody's very concerned about that, and including the actual like doctors, our oncology team. You know, just before he finished treatment, they were prepping us, and they said, you know, sometimes the end of treatment is the hardest part because you're running on adrenaline.
Right.
You're just, okay, hey, this is what we need to do. People would say to us, you know, I don't know how you guys do it. And it's like, well, what choice do we have? Like, you know, and then it ends, or, you know, obviously there's still follow-ups, but everybody helped prepare us for that as well, which was huge. And just like all the events that like Lisa put together in the Polar Express and all these things, and brought you closer to other families, that it's kind of that support you didn't know you needed until you actually have it, where you start connecting with other families that are going through, everybody's journey is different, but you kind of you talk about your day to day, and you know, okay, what's up for today, like
Form bonds, you know, with other families.
Right.
You know.
So.
Well, I think it's interesting you brought up the Polar Express, and so it's a funny thing that happened with the Polar Express. So all the families came to Dana-Farber, and we were going to hop on buses and watch the movie, and then we were going to go to the Cape and sort of go to see the North Pole. The buses didn't show up. So who doesn't show up for me? They didn't show up. So, but watching what these parents did, they all of you just said, okay, what should we do? Some got back in their cars and drove to the Cape. Some did whatever it took. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was just a great way to sort of show the tenacity of all of you guys. And you connected with each other just in this sort of craziness. It's like, well, guys, there's no transportation. And it didn't matter because you've been through heck and back.
You were not going to let buses
Right.
keep you from having that. We thank you so much for coming on and telling us the story. Continued success. Get a close up here, PJ. I want to see this.
right.
I want to see the superhero punch here. There you go.
All right.
Maybe really quickly, tell us why. Look in the camera over there on the right. Tell people why they should give today.
It saved our son's life. The Jimmy Fund saved our son's life, hands down. So it's just amazing.
The world needs more superheroes.
Yeah.
So we need PJ.
Yep.
Boom.
There you
What do
go.
they say? Not all superheroes wear capes.
That's
and,
right.
I would say the Jimmy Fund is definitely our superhero, and in so many ways. So.
We thank you for coming on and sharing your story. It means everything.
Shoot
PJ,
a web.
thank you. Shoot a web?
One web.
How about we all shoot a web?
Everyone shoot a web. 1, 2, 3, go.
There we go. Oh, he got two. See, that's why he's the superhero.